Welcome to AI ConvoCast, where we bring you the latest in AI and tech innovation. Please don't forget to rate, review, and share if you like what you hear. Let's jump right in.
Today, we will be covering AWS pulling OpenAI models and Codex into Bedrock, NVIDIA's new open multimodal model built for agents, Anthropic plugging Claude into Adobe, Blender, and a whole shelf of creative software, and IBM shipping its Granite 4.1 family of open enterprise models. Starting with AWS. At the What's Next with AWS event on April 28th, Amazon announced that OpenAI models on Bedrock, Codex on Bedrock, and Bedrock Managed Agents powered by OpenAI are all entering limited preview. The preview specifically calls out access to GPT-5.5 and GPT-5.4, plus Codex through the CLI, the desktop app, and the VS Code extension. The Managed Agents product is built on OpenAI's own agent harness and is aimed at long-running production tasks, the kind of work where an agent might spend hours grinding through a backlog rather than answering a single prompt. The strategic story here is bigger than the feature list. AWS framed it as bringing frontier intelligence onto the infrastructure they trust. And that's exactly the pitch to enterprise buyers. Instead of standing up a separate procurement, security review, and billing path for OpenAI, Bedrock customers can use the same identity, governance, and cost controls they already have. Codex usage even counts against existing AWS cloud commitments. For Microsoft, this is a real shift. Azure is still central to OpenAI, but OpenAI's enterprise distribution is no longer effectively exclusive. And Bedrock just became a much more credible front door for companies that have standardized on AWS. Next, NVIDIA dropped Nemotron Three Nano Omni, an open model designed to be the eyes and ears of an agent. It takes in text, images, audio, video, documents, charts, and even graphical interfaces, and outputs text. The idea is that instead of an agent stitching together a separate speech model, a vision model, an OCR system, and a language model, one perception model handles all of it. NVIDIA is shipping it on Hugging Face, OpenRouter, its own build portal, and more than 25 partner platforms, with open weights, datasets, and training recipes. Under the hood, it's a 30 billion parameter mixture of experts model with a 256K context window, and NVIDIA claims about 9 times the throughput of comparable open Omni models at similar interactivity. That speed angle is the whole point for agent use cases. H Company CEO Gauthier Claude put it bluntly, saying, "You can't wait seconds for a model to interpret a screen. For a digital agent clicking through a real interface in real time, latency is the difference between something usable and something that feels broken." NVIDIA also says the broader Nemotron 3 family has crossed 50 million downloads in the past year, with Palantir, Foxconn, Dell, DocuSign, Infosys, and Oracle among the companies adopting or evaluating it. The interesting tension is whether NVIDIA's moat becomes open but tuned to run beautifully on our hardware. On to Anthropic, which announced Claude for creative work on the same day. Claude is now getting connectors for Adobe Creative Cloud, Blender, Autodesk Fusion, Ableton, Affinity by Canva, SketchUp, Resolume, and Splice. The Adobe connector reaches across more than 50 Creative Cloud tools, including Photoshop, Premiere, and Express. The Blender connector is especially notable because it gives Claude a natural language interface to Blender's Python API, and it's built on MCP, so other models can use the same connector too. Anthropic also joined the Blender Development Fund as a patron, and education pilots are running at Rhode Island School of Design, Ringling, and Goldsmiths in London. The framing matters. Anthropic isn't trying to replace Photoshop or Ableton with some new AI canvas. It's putting Claude inside the tools professionals already use, mostly to handle the repetitive production work, scripting, file handoff, and figuring out where a feature is buried in a menu. As Anthropic put it, Claude can't replace taste or imagination, but it can take a serious chunk out of manual toil. That's a pointed contrast to AI-native creative startups pitching wholesale replacement of the existing creative stack. Anthropic's bet is that creators don't want a new studio. They want their current studio to do more, with less clicking. Closing with IBM, which shipped Granite 4.1 this week. The family includes language models in 3 billion, 8 billion, and 30 billion sizes, plus Granite Vision, Granite Speech, and Granite Guardian for safety. Everything is Apache 2.0 licensed, cryptographically signed, and aimed squarely at enterprise deployment. IBM calls these its most performant, dense, non-thinking models yet, trained on a 15 trillion token dataset, with much of the gain attributed to better data quality rather than just scale. Granite isn't trying to beat frontier models on leaderboard benchmarks, and IBM isn't pretending otherwise. The pitch, in IBM's own words, is open, performant, trusted. The target customer is a bank, hospital, or government agency that needs models small enough to run locally or in a controlled hybrid environment, with transparent licensing, auditable behavior, and built-in guardrails. That's a different lane from the GPT-5.5 tier, and arguably a more defensible one for IBM. The open model world is splitting into two camps: community releases chasing raw capability, and releases like Granite chasing the compliance and procurement checklist that actually closes enterprise deals.
Thank you for listening to AI Convo Cast. Please don't forget to rate, review, and share if you like what you hear. Thanks and hope to see you again next time.